How to turn Twitter into your best performing sales channel with just 30 minutes of setup. All right, so before we actually get into it, like who am I? Like why should you listen to anything I have to say? Alex, co-founder of Drippy, 7-figure SaaS company specialized in Twitter marketing. And just here are some of the examples of our campaigns. 1.4 million DMs sent, 45,000 replies, which is an average of 3.1% reply rate. August to January, so last 5 months, almost 900 meetings, 1,200 new subscribers, meaning paying users. And then also in terms of content, and then also this is what my profile looks like. So we will talk about content here shortly. Almost 20,000 followers, and literally all within the last, like starting, I think we started going hard on this account in August, and just a bunch of different campaigns, and then just a bunch of different case studies. You get the point. You can access this document down below in the description if you want to like actually go through this. So first of all, we're going to talk about the different options, then we essentially just break each one of those down. All right. And again, there is a link down below in the description to get access to this document if you want to run through it on your own time. And there are some swipe files and some interesting stuff that you can get access to through the document as well. So highly recommend you check it out. All right. So in terms of options, so what are your options when it comes to Twitter? All right. So 3 main ways to acquire clients. We're either doing paid ads, we're doing content marketing, or we're doing outbound. Okay. And Twitter is best for outreach and content marketing. Paid ads for now really aren't on the level of, say, something like Meta, right? And so for this video, we will skip paid ads on Twitter as a whole, and we will get into content marketing and outbound, okay? So with that being said, the best way to make Twitter your best performing sales channel, so there's really 2 options, really 3. So essentially the first one is building a founder brand. Number 2 is high volume outreach. And then number 3 is both, right? Which I'll get into, but that's essentially what we're doing, okay? So in terms of the founder brand, what does this mean? So this is a term coined by Dave Gerhardt. Has a really good book called Founder Brand, and that's kind of like a bunch of the stuff that I'm going to talk about comes from that book. Highly recommend you check it out. All right, so what does founder brand even mean? Okay, so this means building out your own Twitter profile so that people are attracted to you and you're looked as an authority in this space. All right, so here, for example, and how do you do that? Just by displaying your expertise, and we'll get into these specific pieces of content. But here, for example, my profile, if you want to check it out, 18.7 thousand followers. Daniel Fazio has an account with like 150,000. He just started a new one. But this is what I mean when I'm talking about building up a founder brand. Okay, essentially it's building up a profile that attracts inbound leads. And the way to do this is just through content. That's the way to do it. And there's obviously a bunch of different types of content. And I'm going to walk you through how to create content at scale the easy way. Okay. Because I know like there's like no one actually likes doing content. Like I don't love just sitting here and making this video. Obviously I do it because we all want to make money. And because I want to provide a value, right? But it's not like I enjoy, it's not like I'm looking forward to, like no one wants to do this stuff. But this is just stuff that you have to do. So how to create content at scale the easy way. And first of all, let's just get this off the table. Yeah, content sucks and is super easy to identify. So just you do it, okay? Just don't do AI content. Now you can use AI to come up with like ideas or come up with like the first 20 to 50% of a piece of content, but I wouldn't recommend just kind of going like AI and then just posting, because like it's super tacky, it sucks, everyone can tell it's AI, and it just kind of defeats the whole purpose of actually doing content. And so it kind of just like, just bad idea, don't do it. And so now that we got AI out of the table, you have another 2 options. So it's either you're making the content or you have a content team. And I'm going to show you how to do both. Okay. So if you're going to do your own content, now I have a content team, but this is what I've done in the past. And again, the book Founder Brand by Dave Gerhardt and Matt from 1000x Leads. So step number 1, and this is kind of like combining both of their ideas. Okay. So step number 1 is coming up with your topic. So ask yourself, what are the different things that I could talk about that have something to do with what I sell? Okay. So easiest way to do this is just open up a Google Sheet and name it like my topics or whatever, right? And then across the first row, just write down maybe 15 to 20 topics that you specifically can talk about. Okay. So for example, some of my topics are outreach, Twitter DMs, conversion mechanisms, meaning what happens after someone replies, like how to actually convert, not just like how to get replies, DM copy. Everyone asks about Lead list building is a huge one. Best offers for cold DMs, cold emails and cold DMs, and how they can work together, profile optimization, how to do follow-ups, Twitter content, outreach metrics, like what you actually want to be tracking, and then lead magnets as well. And obviously we can add, like, maybe we can even do like SaaS agency scaling, right? So there's a bunch of different things that I can talk about just based off of my experience. And so once you have that, okay, so that's step number one. Just sit down, pause this video, and write out like 10 to 20 different topics that you know enough about to where people will read your stuff and look at you as an authority because of the value that you're putting out in these specific topics. Okay, now you don't have to come up with the like specific ideas. You just want to be doing general topics. Okay, and again, just open up a Google Sheet. The first row, just list out your like 10 to 20 different topics. Okay, so step number two, you want to come up with 10 subtopics under each major topic. Okay, and the easiest way to do this is by asking yourself questions about the main topic or thinking about what questions people might have about this topic. Now, you can either kind of just try to remember, you can come up with questions, and if you're stuck, you can just ask like Claude or ChatGPT or whatever. You can just ask it with a super simple prompt. All right, so this is what, and I literally just came up with this on the fly, but this is what a topic, like, it doesn't have to be super extreme. It can be super simple. Like if you're stuck, this is what you really want to do. But ideally, it's kind of questions that you've gotten on sales calls or questions that people just ask you via email, on your socials, whatever. Okay, so you just tell it like who you are, who you help, what you do, and then like, hey, what questions would my ICP have about topic? And the topics are going to be these. Okay, so all right, so you can open up something like Claude, which is my personal favorite, or ChatGPT will probably still work just as well. And we can literally just say this, like, or like, hey, this is what we do. We help this type of person through specific mechanism. What questions would my ICP have about? And then you can insert any of the topics that you just came up with. So about DM copy, about cold outreach copy. And then it's going to give us a couple examples. Let's see. Let me help you think through. How do you maintain personalization at scale, right? So this is a really good question without sounding generic. What's that right balance between professional and conversational tone? How do you craft messages driving engagement? What kind of response rates can we expect, right? So all these are questions. How do you handle compliance and avoid getting flagged as spam? How do you identify and validate the right decision makers, right? So these are all really good questions. I mean, so some are better than others, I'm not gonna lie, but for the most part, these are really good. And so essentially what you can do, right? And here are just kind of a couple more questions that I typically like, hey, how does Twitter outreach, like, does it work? How do I write good scripts? How do I build a lead list? What are the best ways to build out lead lists for a specific niche? What are some best practices to keep in mind whenever doing Twitter outreach? What are the best offers for Twitter outreach? Can I turn my cold email campaigns into Twitter DM campaigns, right? So all that stuff. And now these are the specific topics that you're going to be talking about in your actual content. And so now you have essentially unlimited general topics, and then you can come up with unlimited questions to answer whenever you're doing outreach. Okay. A really interesting thought. And this is from J.K. Molina. So I remember, and this was like from a while back, but talking about content as like essentially just being a bunch of different hooks that you're putting out. And talking about like whale bait and fish bait. So what you really want to be careful about is that if you're trying to attract like a higher level ICP, if you will, you can't be talking about like, hey, here's how you make your first $10,000 a month, right? Because that's going to attract a completely different person than who you actually want to go for. So just focus your content efforts on speaking to the right people in the right way. Okay. So that's super key. And we've had that issue a ton, which is why I'm saying this. And it's kind of one of those things that you kind of spend a bunch of time doing content, and then maybe 6 months, 12 months down the road, you're like, oh shit, well, I've just been doing content for like, yes, my target audience, but not like my ideal, but not the like actual people that I want to be like connecting with. All right. So just keep that in mind whenever you are coming up with your content. Now, step number 3, now that you've got clear topics to make content about, you've got another 2 options. Okay. So you can either start writing, right? Which if you like to write and you can kind of just go off of this, then beautiful. Or you can start recording yourself talking about one of the daily topics. Okay. And what I mean by daily topics is essentially one of these questions. So you can kind of just go to your Google Sheet and be like, okay, today I want to talk about this specific topic. I have these 15 questions. Let me answer one of them today, right? And then that's going to be kind of like your daily topic for the day, or that's how I do it at least. Again, you either can start writing right off the bat, or you can record yourself talking about one of your daily topics. And here's why I think everyone should run number 2. Even if you're going to have your content team write out the actual content, okay? And this is, again, from the book Founder Brand, super good. So just the concept of ghostwriters and people writing content for other people has obviously been around for ages, but it's notoriously difficult for them, like for your content team, for your ghostwriters, for whoever is actually like writing out the stuff that you're posting, to lock in the founder brand's voice exactly how the founder would say things. So like maybe they have a general idea, plus odds are your content team won't be experts in your field, right? Like they're really good at writing content, but they probably don't have the level of expertise that you have based off of your experience, right? And that's just kind of obvious. I feel like that's something that isn't talked about enough. They probably understand your topics at a general level, right? Because whenever you like hire a team or a content writer or ghostwriter, whatever, there's like an onboarding process, right? Where they get to know you, they kind of get a feel for how you write, etc. But they likely don't have the experience or expertise that you do as a founder to convey what you have to say in the exact same way that you would. And so the way to get around this without you, the founder, having to sit down and write out content, because I have to admit, like at the beginning, it's not easy to just kind of sit down and write by staring at a blank screen, right? Which is why there's like, okay, your general topics and your daily questions. So just answering questions makes it a lot easier. But like still, if you're writing the content out yourself, it does take a bunch of time. But if you are recording yourself talking about a specific topic for 10 minutes, not only will you have a podcast in your hands, but your content team will be able to write in your exact voice. And this is huge, okay? Like they will literally be able to take like sentences of what you're saying and plug that into your written content, which is huge. And it'll be like verbatim for obviously like not for everything, right? Their job is to kind of take the best bits and pieces and distribute across your socials, but it'll be in your exact voice. This is how you can transfer your expertise in the easiest way possible, in the quickest way possible as well. And even if you're gonna be the one writing content out for yourself, recording what you have to say will really just speed up your entire workflow, or at least that's been my experience, and that's what I've heard with everyone that uses this specific process. And if you're not sure how to record, because I know it's like, okay, well, yes, I want to record, but like, how do I actually record? Well, there's a bunch of ways to do it. It's really easy. You can literally just take your phone, open up voice notes, and that's it. Or what I do to record the podcast is I use the software called Riverside.fm. It's super easy to set up. You can share with your team. You can upload it's like really easy to upload as podcast. You can download the tracks and then you can upload to some other tool, which we'll get into, and then like to get the transcript, all that stuff. Now, if you want to listen to some of my podcasts, just to kind of see how like kind of easy it is to just hop on the mic and just start recording, you can look up the Outreach podcast on Spotify or the Distribution podcast as well, and you'll see my stuff on there. And so once you record that, either your content team can take over or you can take the transcript, right? So you can get the transcript, like for example, so I take it from Riverside and then I upload to Fireflies, get the transcript, and then you can plug it. So and if you're doing this yourself, right? If your content team will take care of it, then just give them the audio file and then you're good. But if you're doing it yourself, then you can just plug it again into something like Claude, and then you can ask it to give you tweets or any other. Realistically have the transcript give you tweets, thread, short form content scripts, newsletters, a long form LinkedIn post, and if the idea is good enough, you can even also make a long form YouTube video from that. All right, so now that we know how to create content at scale, I want to talk about what type of content will actually get you followers, okay? Because I know everyone cares about followers and it's like, oh shit, how many followers do you have? First of all, does it even matter? Yes and no. Like you are more likely to get higher reply rates if you have a decent amount of followers, but our best campaigns typically have a ton of volume and accounts with under 300 followers each. So it's really not a huge issue. Like if you have, like for example, if we just go back to my account has like 20 or 18,000 followers now, like that account will perform better than an account with 300 followers just because of how the account is perceived. However, the difference isn't huge. And essentially how you can get the same effect of having an account with a bunch of followers is by just putting out more volume, which we'll get into here shortly, so no worries on that. All right, so in my experience, and my content team has been able to produce the most amount of followers through long form threads, okay, on Twitter. Long form threads, that's it. That's literally it. And again, there is a link down below in the description to get access to this document so you can look through these tweets, or you can just go to my Twitter, Peninari Alex, and you'll find me. So here's some examples of our best performing ones. So 1.5 million impressions, 12 million views. This one probably got us like 3,000 or 4,000 new followers. This one pretty much the same thing. 1 million impressions, 3.3, or yeah, no, not the same thing. This one got 12 million views. 1 million impressions, 3.3 million views. This one got over 800,000 impressions, 3.3 million views. And this one got only 36,000 impressions, 1 million views. But it also got a comment from Elon Musk, right? Like literally, like it's like the Elon Musk. And you can, again, there's a link here to the actual thing. Here's a quick little screenshot. Like Elon Musk himself freaking commented on one of my threads, right? So It's really, really powerful. And Twitter is literally the only social platform where this will happen. All right, so what do these have in common? So first of all, we want to look at the first tweet. They all have very, very strong hooks and an image to grab people's attention. And I find them to be like high curiosity threads and specifically high curiosity hooks, okay? Then we dive really deep into the topic, we provide value, and right at the end, we actually plug Drippy and our services in a very smooth way, okay? Right? Like, I don't know how these guys do it, but there's a bunch of different ways to do this, but you always want to find a way to like sneakily also talk about your stuff, okay? Because like the people that will be attracted or the people that this will be served to will have no clue what Twitter DMs are at all, right? Which is what Drippy does. And this is really the only way to do it, unless you kind of just want to grow your account to have a ton of followers, which I don't like see too much value in, other than just kind of increased reply rates whenever you're doing outreach. But you always want to plug your stuff and try to mesh it in with your content ideas, okay? So highly recommend you study these threads specifically, even just visually. They all follow the same structure, and most of the time, the ones that go mega viral are like in some sort of way controversial. So this one right here, like you can see, let's see how many people, it's like 215 comments, right? And it's people just kind of saying all sort of stuff. And we had one, I don't think I added it in here, but we had one specific thread where it was talking about Steve Jobs. And essentially the picture is a picture from an actor that was playing Steve Jobs in a movie, and everyone went crazy over that. And I think that one got like 10 million views or something as well. And it was like literally every single comment was like, hey, that's not Steve Jobs, or like, hey, that's Ashton Kutcher. Like it was Ashton Kutcher playing Steve Jobs. But those things kind of work to get more eyeballs onto your thread, and in turn get more eyeballs on your offers, because you always want to find a way to intertwine whatever you're talking about in the thread with your product or service. Okay, sweet. So now you know pretty much everything about creating good content at scale. Now, a lot of people also talk about engaging with everyone that interacts with your posts. Now, I can't speak to that too much because I don't personally do it, so I can't talk to that specifically, but I do know it's very effective and I should probably hop on that. So yeah, just do with that what you will. All right, so now how do you capitalize on this? And what I mean by this is you already have a big Twitter following, or you are building up your Twitter following. And this applies for both, okay? So if you already have a decently sized Twitter following, the first thing I would do is set up a campaign to reach out to your own followers, okay? And if you don't do this, your competition will, so I highly recommend you do it. It's super, super easy to do. There's a bunch of different videos here on our YouTube channel going through how to set up an automation, or there is a Loom video right here that walks you through the exact step-by-step process. It's like 5 minutes, so I highly recommend you check it out. Again, there is a link down in the description to get access to this Gamma document. Now, what I recommend everyone do, right, even if you don't have a big follower count, is that you set up a new follower auto DM campaign. Now, again, I will leave a link here to another Loom video that'll walk you through how to do that. It'll literally take you like 5 minutes to set it up. Now, with this, and you can do it for free just using Drippy. There's 7-day free trial, 250 messages, link down below as well. Now, with this automation, what's really powerful about this like both of these different campaigns is that it's people that follow you already. So you will land directly in their main inbox. If they have Twitter on their phone, they'll get a notification on their phone whenever you reach out to them because they follow you, okay? So that's why you really, really, really want to take advantage of this. Now, with this second automation, which is the new follower auto DM campaign, and with this automation, what I see people do the most and what I recommend you do is just engage with them in a sales conversation. You can have them sign up to your newsletter, check out your YouTube channel, whatever it might be. A lot of people also do freebies like, hey, here is a guide for how to XYZ. And so it's really, really easy to do. You provide value, or you can kind of engage in a sales conversation and then go about that kind of lead relationship that way, right? So now here's what I do, okay? Highly recommend that you set one of these up, either if you are starting out your founder brand and so you're gonna start getting new followers, or if you already have a bunch of followers, because again, like new people you also wanna engage with. So here's the script I'm personally sending, and this is a combination of starting a sales conversation, but then also talking about something personal to them, okay? So a little bit of syntax, hey, hello, hi, first name. And then I also do thanks for the follow. really dig the concept behind business name. And again, this is using AI, right? So this is the exact script that I have on my Drippy campaign. Do you have data on who typically buys from you the most? I say also, and then I ask AI to look into their website and their profile to determine what city they're based out of, and then ask them if they're based there, right? And then I say, don't include a state. So it'll say, hey, Alex, thanks for the follow. Really dig the concept behind Drippy. Do you have any data on who typically buys from you the most? So this is kind of the sales thing, right? So like, hey, who typically buys from you the most? Why? Because one of our freebies is giving them a free lead list. So then they're like, oh, like, yeah, this is who typically buys. Oh, sweet, dude. Here's a quick lead list. It's kind of really easy to provide them with value after they reply to this question. And then it's like, also, are you based in Mexico City? And so this would say something along the lines of, I've always wanted to visit XYZ, ever been? And these are the specific settings that we have. This one's like, they're all key, and you want to have all these turned on, like advanced, creativity 1.3, split messages turned on, and then both all websites and all recent tweets turned on as well. But split messages is key because this will be sent out as 4 different messages. Okay, so it won't look as just kind of one big like lump of text, which is really easy to tell that is automated. But if you send out 4 different messages, and they're all super personalized, like no one ever notices that this is an automated message, right? And so that's kind of what you want to do whenever you are setting these up. All right, so there we go. All right, so that is content and building out your founder brand. All right, so the second option for Twitter marketing or turning Twitter into your #1 sales channel. Second option is high volume outreach. Now, again, 3 main ways to acquire clients. Paid ads, we won't get into. Content marketing is what we've already covered. And if you're familiar with cold outbound, then you know that up until now, there's only been really 2 ways that B2B businesses have done outbound, and that is via cold email or cold LinkedIn, right? Everything else, and some people do Instagram outreach as well. And now these do work. I'm not gonna say these don't work. And the reason that is because you are directly reaching out to decision makers. And if you've done your research well, then you know exactly what their pain points are, and hopefully your solution will solve those pain points, right? And so that's why cold outreach just works as a whole. However, the issue with both cold email and cold LinkedIn is that these have stopped working as well as they used to due to deliverability issues, meaning you are landing a lot more in spam, really low reply rates with even lower positive reply rates, costs simply just rising, the same data platforms, meaning everyone is kind of taking data from the same sources, a bunch of people out of office all the time, executive assistants taking over inboxes, personal accounts getting banned left and right on LinkedIn, and very low volume capabilities. Now, the reason we like Twitter so much is because you can send out a shit ton of volume, meaning you can send up to 500 messages per day per account. You get direct access to decision makers where no one else is reaching them, and there are typically no assistants on someone's Twitter. Like, people typically have their Twitter on their phone. You get access to decision makers that aren't on data platforms, meaning if you scrape data from Twitter, like no one else is doing that. There's no big data platform that is scraping from Twitter. There are no deliverability issues as long as you're verified, meaning the $8 blue check. It's a blue ocean right now. High barrier to entry if you don't know what you're doing because of the setup, which I'll walk you through right now. And Twitter's user base is consistently increasing since Elon Musk took over. And like I said previously, Twitter is literally the only place where Elon Musk will reply to one of your tweets personally, right? So that's pretty cool. All right, so how do you set up an outreach system on Twitter? So this is the process right here. So you have a Twitter account, or an X account. It's just kind of easier to do X here. Then you want to connect that to a proxy. Then you want to optimize the accounts, but you don't want to optimize them to your business just yet. We found that since the next step is to verify them, we found that actually just having them look like regular people, essentially just like having a sunset as a cover photo, live, love, laugh in the description, and like not making it branded to a business, actually helps them get verified quicker. So you just want to optimize, meaning you want to change the username, name, profile picture, cover photo, all that stuff, so that it's like it looks legit. And then you verify, and then after you verify is when you actually will optimize to your business without changing name, username, or profile picture. Because when you do that, the verification actually goes away, and then Twitter has to re-verify your account. Like, they have to recheck that you're the same person. Then once they're verified, you can connect these accounts to Drippy. You start sending messages. You reply to those messages using the Drippy Unibox. Then you can start booking sales calls and you start acquiring new clients. Now, you can do this with one account. You can do this with just like your personal account. You can do this with 10 accounts, 20 accounts, or even 100 accounts. The max we've done is 120 accounts for one specific client, and that campaign absolutely freaking ripped. And like I said, the best part about Twitter for outreach is that according to Twitter terms of service, every account can send up to 500 direct messages per day. Okay, so just think about the volume on that. I mean, this is a screenshot from Twitter terms of service. Like I said, 500 direct messages per day. However, just to err on the safe side, we typically keep accounts at around 200 to 300 messages per day, not counting follow-ups, just to minimize risk. Now, it's very rare for personal accounts to ever get banned. However, if you are building up an army of 100 accounts, these will get banned every once in a while. It's not the most common thing in the world. These will get banned, and it is kind of tedious. It's not the end of the world. You can just kind of make more accounts, get them verified again. But again, it is very tedious. So just to err on the safe side and to save yourself and or your team time, you always just want to keep accounts at between 200 to 300 new messages, and then with follow-ups, you're going to end up like between 300 and 500 messages. But again, the total message limit is 500 DMs per day. Okay. Meaning, if you want to send out 10,000 cold DMs every single day, you only need 50 Twitter accounts, assuming that you're going to be sending 200 messages per day per account. And if you want to send out 2,000 messages per day, you only need 10 accounts to do that, okay? And the cost of 10 accounts is literally just the verification. So just the blue check, the blue check is $8 per. So you're paying $80 for verifications, which is really, really, really good. In order for this to work, super, super key that you actually set up accounts correctly, okay? Because I've seen this happen so many times where people start buying accounts and then they start paying for verifications and then their fake accounts get banned because they don't know what they're doing. So this is how you want to be doing this, okay? Super, super key. Follow this to a T and you'll be fine. So buy or make Twitter accounts. There's a bunch of different platforms where you can buy them. They're not very expensive at all either. Like if you're making the accounts, you want to make sure that you email and phone verify all your accounts. Or if you're buying the accounts, you want to make sure that wherever you're buying them from, they're already email and phone verified. And you also want to get access to the email because sometimes they like send verification codes and stuff like that. Now, what you want to do, and again, this is the like more in-depth process of this, right? So this is what we're talking about here. So this is kind of the general process. And then this is the like specifics in terms of days and everything. So again, you want to have accounts that are email and phone verified. Then you want to change the profile picture. You want to change the name, change the username, and then you have to wait 3 days to be able to verify. Okay. So then 3 days after you kind of change all this stuff, in the meantime, you want to log into the accounts, make sure that you look like a real human, just interact with some people, add some content, comment on some stuff, like some posts, all that stuff, follow some people, right? So you want to like essentially just act as if that's your own personal account, like, and you want to do this for all your accounts. And then 3 days after you change all that stuff, then you can actually verify the account, meaning you can buy the $8 verification. Then you have to wait around 3 to 5 days for the verification to appear. And then that's when you actually optimize accounts to your business, and then you launch with low volume. What I mean by low volume is starting at 6 messages per hour, and then that typically works well. And not only that, but if you're sending this much volume, you really need to make sure that your sending software is not sharing IP addresses, okay? You just want to make sure that every single account that you connect to any sending software has a dedicated IP address so that your accounts do not get damaged by other senders that aren't following this process to the T, okay? And obviously Drippy does this, right? So whenever you connect an account to Drippy, each and every account gets a dedicated IP address that is not shared with anyone else. And you really want to make sure that, like, this is happening, because if you're sharing IP addresses with other accounts, your accounts can not only get banned, but they could get burned, which is essentially the same thing, but even worse, because you're still paying for the verification and your messages will never land in the right inbox. And again, your accounts will get blacklisted if you don't set this up correctly, if you don't do this to the T, okay? So just a quick checklist to follow is you want to make sure each account is phone verified. You want to make sure each account is email verified. You want to make sure each account has the blue check. You want to make sure each account has its own IP address and is not shared and is not being shared with anyone else. You want to make sure you optimize accounts properly and within the correct time frame. You want to warm up accounts correctly. You want to make sure you're staying within the limits. Drippy does this automatically as well. And you want to make sure that your scripts are not spammy and that each one of them is personalized. The easiest way to do this, there's a bunch of different videos on this channel going through how to write good scripts for Twitter DMs. The easiest way to do this is personalize and provide value. If you do that, then you'll be fine. And you also want to use a tool to centrally manage all the leads and replies. And again, Drippy does this through our Unibox. Okay, now what types of results have we seen from this and what type of results can you expect from this? So after just going through tens of thousands of campaigns through over 2,000 B2B clients that have gone through Drippy, these are the numbers that you should be able to get. Okay, so and this is like, obviously, if you do everything correctly, if your lead lists are on point and you have really good scripts, okay? For every 1,000 to 10,000 prospects that you put through a complete 3 follow-up cold DM sequence, you should be able to close at least 1 high ticket client. And this is for high ticket stuff, meaning like couple $1,000s up. Now, if we're talking SaaS or some lower ticket offering, your numbers will obviously be higher than these, right? And you being either at 1,000 or 10,000 really just depends on how much proof you have that what you're saying is actually true. Okay, so it'll just be determined by your case studies, your client testimonials, and or if you have a money back guarantee. Okay, so it'll be closer to 10,000 or higher if you don't have these, and it'll be closer to 1,000 if you do have these. So again, your success rate will be primarily determined by how much social proof you have from other clients. Now, in terms of actual numbers, so let's say you have 10 accounts. Each account is sending 200 new messages per day. You'll send DMs to 20,000 new prospects in about a week. All right, so on average from 20,000 messages, if you have the same average as we do, and remember, this is from almost 1.5 million DMs sent. Like this isn't, hey, we just ran one campaign and then this is the data. This is 1.5 million DMs sent, 3.1% reply rate, and an average of 50% positive reply rate, okay? What that means is you'll get 620 replies every single week from 20,000 DMs, right? You'll get 310 of them to be actually positive. Now, if you have a 10% booking rate from positive replies, you'll book 30 sales calls, and if your close rate is 20%, you'll close 6 clients. This is in a week, okay? If your close rate is 10%, you'll close 2 to 4 clients. So these are the actual numbers that you can expect, right? And again, it's unreasonable for you to not close if you're getting 310 positive replies per week. And this is just based off of our data, right? I'm not saying this is going to happen to you if you sign up to Drippy. I'm just saying this is based off of data, like realistically, what you can expect and what you should be aiming for as well. All right, so now you might be thinking, Alex, I fucking love this dude. How do I set this up? All right, so now you know how to set up accounts. Now it's actually time to get things set up within Drippy. And so it's really straightforward, and I'll leave a link to a video on how we set things up here in this document. Again, the document you can access down below in the description. And there's also a dedicated video going over how to scrape leads and another video on how to write scripts like a pro. So this video right here, I sent 1,000 cold DMs to businesses for 30 days. This is the whole setup, and this walks through like our specific funnel. Really, really good video. This video walks through how to scrape leads, like the best way to scrape leads. It involves Drippy and it also involves Clay. And there's some other stuff like you don't necessarily need Clay. And then a script writing video. So this is how you want to be writing scripts that go with our best performing like script framework. We do have an offer where we set this whole thing up for you for a one-time fee. So I'll leave a link here for you to book a call with us. And in short, essentially we build out the entire system for you for just a one-time fee. And this is what you'll be getting. And you get 10 plus verified Twitter accounts that are also phone and email verified. We'll take care of the account optimization. We will take care of account warm-up. We will build your cold DM strategy. We will build your personalized scripts. We will build the follow-up sequences. We will give you the leads. We will do the whole Drippy setup, and you'll get access to a cold DM expert in case you need any help along the way. Plus, you also get access to our weekly community coaching calls with me directly. So if you don't want to go through the hassle of setting up 100 accounts, again, it's just a one-time fee and then you pay for Drippy. So highly recommend you check it out. So click this button on the Gamma document to book a call, and we will see you there. Now, the third option, if you remember from the beginning of this video, I know this has been a long video, but the third option is actually combining both founder brand and high volume outreach. Now, why do I believe that your best bet is to do both? Because that's what we've been doing for the last 2 years, and I've seen a lot of success, okay? So like, I'm just showing you what we're doing, what's working for us. Like, you've seen the results, and so, like, this is literally how we've grown Drippy as a business, which is why we recommend each and every single B2B business to do the same thing. Now, I'm not saying drop all your other marketing efforts, because clearly, like, we are doing a bunch of Twitter outbound. We are doing everything that I talked about on Twitter, but we also do some other stuff as well. So I'm not saying drop all your marketing efforts and just go with Twitter. But what I am saying is for you to just add Twitter to the mix, and you can experience the results for yourself, like more than 2,000 companies have that have used Drippy. Okay, so again, don't drop everything and just go full like all in on Twitter, but add Twitter to your marketing efforts. You will see the results and you'll literally never leave. This specific video will show you how to convert your cold email campaigns into Twitter DM campaigns that perform 10 times better. So I highly recommend you check it out. Once again, link down in the description will be access to this Gamma document so you can walk through everything on your own time and watch the videos. Specifically, I appreciate you a ton. Let me know down below if you have any questions, and we will speak soon. Peace.